Hi there, my name's Maddy Harland, and this little creature that's popped in is called Magic, and with my husband and business partner Tim Harland we founded Permanent Publications, publishers of permaculture and regenerative titles, in 1990, so nearly 31 years ago, and Permaculture Magazine in 1992. I've never really had a proper job, I have to admit. When I left university, I immediately started my own business, and I've worked for myself or within a company with Tim for the remaining part of my professional career. And over that time, I've always run businesses that are ethical, all about people care, earth care and fair shares, and I've picked up a few tips along the way. So I'd like to share them with you today. So everything you do from the point of conception to ongoing business development needs to be thought through carefully. And by designing, I mean looking at the kind of software you use, the tools, where you acquire them from, your accounting systems, how you might share information and files with colleagues and staff, and your apps that you use, the contracts that you take out, and think deeply about things like telephone systems. Up to about 2018, we had a suite of offices, staff, quite a conventional business structure, and we all commuted to work. And then we made a decision, which actually was activated on the 1st of March 2018, to relocate our business totally to the cloud. We found that we were working with people from all over the world, and that because we were information and software based, we just didn't need a physical office. We could meet on Zoom and in person in those days. So we moved everything, all our software systems, all our file sharing, even our telephone system, to cloud-based technology. And we did that through a process of transitional design. So identifying all the functions that we needed and all the assets that we needed in our old style business, and then replacing them with new technologies. It saved us a lot of money. It hasn't all been perfect, but we've again designed around the difficulties that we've encountered and overcome them. And frankly, with COVID and the UK getting locked down 3 times in the last year, and us not being able to leave our houses except to go to essential work, it saved our life. So it was a prescient and useful decision. We really need to embed our ethics as regenerative designers into our business. And it's very simple. We ask ourselves always, is this earth care? Is this the most ecological solution to buying in a resource? Does this limit the use of carbon? Am I saving energy, resources? That's the aim, a core aim. The second one, is this people care? Am I looking after the people that I'm working with? Am I looking after myself? Am I looking after my customers and my suppliers in an honourable way? And the third thing is it fair shares? What am I redistributing back into the system? Let's not think that business is all about being cutthroat and making the most money. It really isn't. And we operate a lot of giveaway programs as part of our business. There's a whole section of our e-commerce site, Permaculture Market, that basically gives away ebooks, and we definitely try and share as many resources as we can with our subscribers and other customers and people interested in this subject. And another aspect is, so be kind. We don't need to become assholes, fundamentally, if we're in business. Pay people on time. It's appreciated. And be honourable. Don't cheat. Another aspect of business, particularly when you work remotely or you work with clients and you don't have the opportunity to have a lot of face-to-face meetings, is make sure your communications are good. So spend more time talking if you can't meet up with people. Pick up the phone instead of sending an email. Arrange to have Zooms or some other kind of video communication platform so that you see people's faces. There's a lack of nuance with email. It can be fine, but it can often be the lowest common denominator, and we can often sound brusque and even, I fear, a little bit rude on email. It lacks charm. So when it really matters, make sure that you talk to people. At our company, we have regular team meetings, and I try and pick up the phone to the people I work with on a regular basis. Some of the people I can't meet. My main designer lives in Northern Ireland, and we very rarely meet in person, but we make sure that we maintain a close and good working relationship through good communications. Never send an angry email. Be firm, have boundaries, but if someone's pressed your buttons, sleep on it and draft an email, sleep on it, and then consult a colleague. Is this fair? Is this well expressed? Is this appropriate? It's incredibly important to maintain these good communications. Fourth one, run multifunctional stacked enterprises. Now this is a good Bill Mollison principle. Look at what you're doing and make sure that one of your yields has more than one output. So make sure your yields are multifunctional. Design in multiple yields for one task. So, for instance, if you're designing a farm or a garden for a customer or a case study for a client, think about whether that could be a chapter of your forthcoming good book, an article in a magazine about regenerative design, or indeed a YouTube for your YouTube channel that you use as part of your social media publicity, or indeed a teaching session on an online or terrestrial course. So look at what you're doing and really think, am I designing in as many yields as possible for this task? And you can do that with product design, with your marketing, with everything you do, because multifunctional stacked enterprises is all about that design mindset that wants to maximise the benefits and create relationships between what you do and what your output is. Plan for resilience. So don't be a pessimist, but think about the worst case scenario. Let me give you an example. When we first had lockdown in the UK in March last year, the stores closed all over the world. Suddenly we produced a magazine, and suddenly we had hardly any of our stores in the States and in Europe that were available to sell it. What did we do? Well, we could have just taken a massive hit in our turnover and got into a bit of trouble. We had to reduce our print run. But we decided, no, this is an opportunity to develop other sides of our business. So we got working on developing a new e-commerce site, to sell our physical print magazine from more effectively. We strongly marketed our digital magazine that is also available by subscription. We ramped up all of our books into EPUBs as fast as we possibly could. And we thought a lot about, okay, if we can't physically reach our customer through stores, then let's reach them either direct by working really hard on our social media, or let's create electronic publications that they can easily get their hands on. And I'll just say something briefly about social media. Social media is not a selling platform. It is, but it's really by stealth, because what we want to give people on social media is valued content. We want people to read our media, to enjoy our media, to follow us, because we're offering good stuff, not because we're trying to sell them stuff and make money out of them. So although I said we really focused on our social media, we were very careful to think carefully about what do our customers need to hear at the moment. Last year in the spring, a lot of our customers really got into their gardens and their yards, and they were planting, wanting loads of practical knowledge about gardening and growing veg so that they didn't have to go shopping. This winter it's different in our climate in Northern Europe. People are much more stuck inside, so they're thinking a lot more about their personal resilience, their health and well-being, their immune system, and how they can look after themselves and have a good, healthy, low-cost diet at this time. It's much less about growing in January. Come February, we'll go back into the cycle of growing. So we're designing our social media all the time to respond to what we feel our customers will most want to hear about. Number 6, be a financial nerd. Do the numbers regularly. Don't be someone who runs a business and does their accounting, their tax calculations as an utter last-minute scramble. If you're a big concern, do your accounts daily. I do my accounts on an online cloud platform called QuickBooks Online, but there are many, many different programs suitable for different types of business and whether your accounts are connected directly to your e-commerce system or whether you're a sole trader. But get your head around those figures, don't leave it to your accountant. Why? Because we have to know what our cash flow forecast is likely to be. We have to understand all of our expenses, and we also have to be able to understand where our income's coming from on a weekly basis. And if we're not intimate with all of these details as a business owner and designer, we can't respond to the crisis points and squeezes that we're going to receive in this world. This is a world that is in transition. It's in rapid escalating climate change, and COVID is a symptom of ecological stress on ecosystems and transference of disease from the animal kingdom into the human kingdom because of how animals are treated in this world. So let's be smart, let's understand our planet's under stress. We know that we've lost a vast percentage of our total species since the Second World War. Our species diversity has plummeted, and that means our ecosystems are in trouble. And that will be reflected in the amount of resources and the ease of the flow of resources in this world. So we need to be smart, and we need to be able to respond to crisis. Experiment. don't be afraid to experiment and try things out and take risks. We've taken risks. The last 31 years has been a risk. When we started, nobody knew what permaculture was, and they certainly weren't thinking about regenerative design. It was unheard of virtually. And we started a business based on it. So we've taken risks for decades, and they've been calculated. We've known that they've been risky, but they've never ultimately threatened our very survival financially. So keep it real, take risks, but be well informed about the extent of your risk. Be prepared to innovate, but also be prepared to cull projects that don't work. Don't be sentimental. Let me give you an example. We had an e-commerce business and we bought in stock from lots and lots of different green sources before the existence of Amazon.com. And we did really, really well. And then Amazon came along and they had economies of scale, they could undercut us, they could outcompete us at every part of our business logistically. And so in the end, even though we had a well-established brand called Green Shopping, we shut it down. Why did we do that? We did it because it wasn't making money. It had had its day, and then we got outcompeted by, a massive global business. We saw the writing on the wall. We thought, right, what is our unique selling point? What is our deepest business asset? Our business asset is actually our worldview. It's our vision about what this world could be like. It's our understanding of what makes a design or a system or a farm or a garden or a community regenerative. And therefore it's our intellectual property which is of most value to us, not our ability to sell garden trowels or any other product that Amazon can do better than us. So we should focus our core work on publishing ideas from all over the world. Don't try and outcompete the big boys. Number 8, take breaks, stay well. It's really easy, particularly as a small business owner or someone running a small charity, to get really exhausted and ultimately to burn out. And when you run an ethical business, fundamentally you're making a statement to the world. You're actually saying to the conventional world, another world is possible. And you're standing up for earth care and caring for people and sharing resources. And so you're a very valuable member of society, and you are someone who is working on behalf of the future generations. So it's incredibly important that you maintain good health, don't burn out, and that you see your work as being over decades rather than short, exhausting burns of energy. So make sure you take holidays, find ways to manage stress, switch off, be as healthy as you can, and just generally look after yourself. As I said, you're a real asset to this world, and the more capable, the more experienced, the more you grow, the greater that asset will become. Create feedback loops, incredibly important in permaculture design to accept feedback, in business, really important to accept feedback. So ask for it, ask your customers, ask your colleagues, ask your staff. Be self-critical. We have a thing, we sit down after every single magazine issue, and if we can, we sit around a table, we go through it page by page and say, right, this is great, but I like this. What do I like about this? I like this, but this I could do better. This I would like to do better. So we constantly have not an unpleasant critical eye, but an aspirational critical eye to improve what we do. And that also applies to our business development. We're always looking to improve what we do within the niche that we can operate. It's really important to be boundaried around this. Don't be idealistic. Identify your core niche and get on with it. I should say niche for the USA. Very English. Last thing, practice gratitude. Part of the Indigenous worldview that I deeply respect and value is this phenomena, or this view that gratitude is the words that should come first. So every day for me is pretty miraculous. I'm very grateful I'm alive at this time. I think we're living in extraordinary times. They're very difficult times for many people, very threatening and frightening times for many people, but they're times of huge opportunity, great possibilities for transition and new developments in the world. So let's be grateful and let's make every day count, and let's speak up about what we deeply value in this world, and let's embed those ethics and values in what we do in our working life. We spend a huge amount of time in our lives working, so let's make it count, let's make it enjoyable, and let's make it matter for a better world. Thanks so much for listening to me today. I hope you're having a great event, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.